Hey, She Slayers, this is a special sample cut from this week's episode. If you find this interesting, be sure to make time to go listen to the entire episode released this past Sunday. And please be sure to help a girl out and follow or subscribe to this podcast. So it could be like, okay, so instead of working, like, all right, you've been launching this product for a really long time, you need to rest. Okay, now go wallpaper your dining room.
Exactly.
This
Yeah.
makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's what's going to renew your energy inside of that other space. Now,
The only
if
way
you
I can truly rest, the only way I can truly rest is if I go to I can't even go to I can't say all beach vacations because it's like, well, no, is it if I'm in Belize, I want to see the city and I want to see this and this and this. So it has to be like a boring, like you're in Florida or Cancun and you've been there a bunch of times. You're at an all-inclusive. Everything is right here. I can sit and read a book.
You've explored everything. Do you know your profile? Do you remember your profile? The two numbers?
No, we can look it up though if you want.
My guess is you're probably an investigator because you like to have that information for those foundations. You like Google is your friend. You like to go down rabbit holes. Like you like to experience. You mentioned a line 3 in Enneagram. That probably is connected to a line 3 in human design, which is all about experimentation, experiencing, all of those things. But it's like when you get those more customized pieces of information, then you can take what you've learned from those other assessments and go, oh, okay.
Yep.
Now here's more of an implementation plan as opposed to here's information, peace out.
Right. Okay. So since we're talking about Manny Jenny's, let's kind of wrap this one up. So rest for us in general looks like switching tasks to something that is exciting.
Looks crazy busy to everybody else.
Right. So instead, it may not look like naps. It may not look, so then how do I know when is a good time to push myself?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. So the thing is that you, as a manager, you don't need to because you naturally have that energy. Where actually a lot of my managers need to focus is on the other end of it is when do you step to the side? When do you move to that other
Love that
spot?
you said to the side, because if you were going to say back, I was like, I will not step back.
You know what's so funny? I wrote a book in 2020 called She Profits, and I put in there that I don't believe in step backs. I only believe in side steps. Because that's totally true. You can't step back because you're never the same person. It's never at the same time. Like stepping back doesn't make any sense to me. But when you step to the side and you look at it from a different angle, it's more of it's paying attention to the areas when you start getting frustrated. So in human design, there's signature, which is a feeling that you get when you're inside of your design, which for Manny-Gens, it's satisfaction. When you are moving too far outside of your design, you have a non-self signature, which for y'all is frustration. So when you're getting frustrated about something, that is your design going, okay, time to go over here. Like you have mastered everything inside of that moment, inside of that space. So now you need to wait for more information, which is part of your strategy as a manifesting generator. And you need to either talk it out because inform is your major strategy and not talk it out from a place of fix me. It's more of, I got to get this out of my brain, out of my system, out of my head.
Verbal processing.
Exactly.
So I started a podcast. Yes.
Yeah. And then let that glitter settle in that timeout jar and go over here. So it's actually listening to more of those negative pings, quote unquote negative pings, as opposed to I need to push myself. No, as a manager, that's natural. You don't have to focus on that whatsoever. What you do need to focus on is when you've gone too far. Because what I say to my managers all the time is just because you should doesn't mean just because you can doesn't mean you should.
So how does comparison issues show up for Manny-Gens? Because because you can doesn't mean you should. There's a lot of shoulding. In my life and I don't know if that is a Manny-Gen thing, but because I can be doing a million things and it's just the gap versus the gain where it's just yeah, but that person over there is doing even more. Like, is that a common thing for Manny Jen or just all humans?
I mean, it's a common thing for all humans, especially if you have what's called an open crown, or
Oh, that sounds
if you
good.
have I know, right? If you have certain emotional and idealistic centers open, that means you're receiving energy and emotion from people, which can coerce or disrupt your natural design or your natural process. So centers is one of the places I actually really love to nerd out in human design, because it does give us so much information of where conditioning has taken us too far, and we're coming from a place, we're reacting from a space that is actually meant to just be like a receiver.
So, like,
And
open centers, you're more influenced by outside things
yes,
versus like blinders on, I'm doing my own shit. So, an open crown no
exactly.
longer sounds good.
I mean, it is good because you constantly have ideas. You're constantly being inspired. A lot of my Manny Gens
Mhm.
have an open crown. It's that pressure to know.
What was
But
the name of
what
that website again, by the way?
mybodygraph.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
If you want to show me your centers, we could
I
totally
was
nerd
gonna
out.
say, I'm just
Uh,
like, all right.
but it's it's when you understand why certain people, certain actions, certain things really quote unquote trigger you. Human design shows you why you are feeling that emotion and where it actually needs to go and what you can do to shift that from a, WTF to, oh, that's them, sweet action. I know that this is true for me. And even if you don't know your human design, if you're listening to this, you're like, I'm not really called to know this. Even that simple action of, if you know this person is just instantly triggering you, you can unfollow them. Like, you have so much permission and say already to do what you need to do to create what you want. And especially when it comes to social media and things like that, like, there is a fine line sometimes between
Oh,
inspiration and just complete overwhelm.
yeah, yeah, we're all exposed to so much overwhelm. So yeah, I can see where that's like, well, we're just not, our brain, nobody's brain was designed for this.